Hello and welcome back. This is Jeremy, and today it's going to be more of a continuation of just ideas of stuff, not really programming anything at the moment. Um, so we're going to be talking about primitive data types, variable declarations, integer data types, floating point data types, boolean data types, char data type, and I think that's probably about all I'm going to try to squeeze in this little tutorial here. So, what are primitive data types? Well, primitive data types are already built into the Java language. So these are the items such as byte, short, int, long, float. I think there's a couple boolean, char, of course. But I did put a little list together. Let's see. Let's bring this over real quick so you can kind of see what they all are. Let me make this a little bit bigger. There we go. So you can see there's 8 of them. There's byte, short, int, long, float, double, boolean, and char. So those are the main built-in primitive data types that live in the Java language. The next one I was going to show you was, well, of course I didn't give it a title. Sorry about that. Is the actual range of value. So a byte is 1 byte. As an integer, ranges from -128 all the way up to 127. Short is 2 byte integer that ranges from -32,768 to positive 32,767. And you're probably looking at these, why do these end in sevens and not eights? Well, you count zero as a number. So that hopefully that helps out. I'll read the next one and the rest you can read on your own, I guess. An int is 4 byte integer that is range of negative, what is that? 1,000,000,000, -2,147,482,648 to positive 2,147,000 yeah, 147,482,647. And the rest of the keys getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, with floating points, we can use decimals, and the same with doubles as well. Just you get more precision out of a double than you do a float. And then what I mean is, like, you can go, as you can see right here, it says with 7-digit accuracy. So you get, sorry about that, you get a after the decimal point back 7 digits accuracy. Anything beyond that, it gets a little tricky. So let's see, the next one. Whoops, where's that at? Next thing I wanted to cover was the variable declarations. Now we kind of already covered it in the variables program. You would declare the primitive type, which is int. You give it a name, a variable name, and then you give it a value. Now you don't always have to be equal to anything. Like, I can declare this tax rate here and use it later on in the program somewhere else. I don't have to declare it right off the or assign a value. Sorry, I am declaring it. So to kind of show you what the other ones might look like, could have byte, inches. I guess that would be as do cm for centimeter. Short could be what would be a short month maybe. Trying to figure out what trying to give variable names that kind of go with the data type. Int. Oh, we already got some ints. Let's do a long. Long could be a date stamp probably. Again, these are just names I'm just making off the top of my head. Float. I can spell float, right? OAT. Float. Sales report. Whoops. Sales report maybe. Sounds good, don't it? And double. We could use for, say, miles per hour, I guess. I don't know. Sounds good to me. So those are what they kind of look like. And there's other ones there's other types that we can use later on down the road. Then there's okay, so let's kind of talk about what an int actually does. Now, integer, some of you already had this in math class, some of you probably haven't, but which is fine. With an int, it stores whole numbers. Okay, so you might be saying, well, what's a whole number? Whole number could be like 1, 5, 4, 7, 8, whatever, 6, 7. Those would be a whole number. So I can't have any decimal points in there at all. Okay. A floating point allows you to have fractional values. So if I did sales reports, so say like sales reports, so say like John Smith sold so say 1,087 cents worth of items. Okay. Like I said, there's two of these floating point. There's this one as well, which would be the same. So $888.67 and 9/10 of a cent, I guess. A byte would also be. I'm sorry, let me backtrack. Is also an integer. So this can only have whole numbers. Short. I think short is whole numbers as well. And I think I'm missing long. Long is definitely whole numbers as well. So we have a lot of whole numbers here, and these are our floating point. Floating point. This is floating point as well. Okay. Man, I cannot type today. Okay. So that's that. Let's see, there's something else. Oh, booleans. Booleans are pretty neat. Now, some of you might have dealt with this. Maybe some of you haven't. And it's basically true or false. That's all it is. So I believe the keyword looks like bull. I think. Let's see, bull. Maybe it's not. I'm trying to remember what is the keyword for it. Hold on, once. That's right. I think it would be like bull, not name, but equals. Say true. That should be legal, I believe. Isn't it? Why is it giving me errors? Because it's boolean, not bull. I can use bull as a variable name. So boolean. Boolean, bull equals true. And if I were to replace, ooh crap, that X with true, it should, I believe it should print true. Let's see, I'm curious. I can't recall off the top of my head. Is this, what's wrong with that? Cast float? It is float. Okay. I'll explain that here in a minute. Yeah, so the value is true. So we'll set to true. Okay. But if I set this to false, it will say value is false. So it's just one way to kind of test something or test your logic. The next one is a char. Chars are kind of neat. I like chars. Chars are just a single letter. That's all it is. So as you can say, like char. You can't do name. What can we do? We'll say name. Like backspace. So I'll say char name. You put single quotes J, and you end it with that. And then I can run that, and then I should get just the letter J. So just remember that a char is single, single letter only. And the reason why I say that is because I've done this in the past. I've seen other people do it in the past. You try to make your char name be longer than one thing. You treat it as a string, so all of a sudden your char name becomes, oh, I named it that, so Jeremy should be fine, and you try to run it, and it doesn't work at all. So we covered ints are whole numbers, bytes are whole numbers, shorts are whole numbers, longs are whole numbers, float and decimal points are floating point integers, which means we get the decimals of this, that, and the other. We covered the booleans, which is true or false. This should put true or false. And we also covered the char variable. So now we got some variable names underneath our belts. We might in the next episode cover a couple other things, but we'll probably start going through declaring more variables and assigning stuff to them and stuff like that. So we can kind of start building a little more programs. Okay? So until next time, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the video, pass it on, and you guys have a great day.